Hello XR developers. In this video, I'm going to walk you through making your first visionOS app. First, we're going to do something very simple. We're setting up our environment. We'll start by downloading all the necessary tools like Unity, Xcode, and the visionOS simulator. Then we'll build a few different apps together. You don't need a polyspatial license to get started with visionOS apps, but you will be limited to creating windowed apps for now. If you do need a polyspatial license, you can grab a free 30-day trial of Unity Pro. Just remember to cancel it before it ends. I'll include the link for that too. In the next videos, we'll dive into creating fully immersive apps using AR Foundation and the XR Interaction Toolkit. We'll check out some sample projects and I'll show you how to test your apps directly from Unity or either in the simulator or a Vision Pro device. Make sure to check the latest documentation and install the right versions of everything, as these tools are still in beta and can change often. Also, you will need a silicon-based Mac to deploy visionOS apps right now. Though support for Intel-based Macs is planned for the future, right now it's not available. If you enjoy this kind of content, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, just put them down below. All the source code will be on my Patreon, so please join it. Let's dive into visionOS. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that we're gonna need to do is download Unity, right? So it's pretty easy. We just have to go to Google and we're gonna go and just search for Unity. And because we are using a Silicon MacBook in order to develop for visionOS, we're going to have to download the Silicon version of the Unity Hub. So just click download and it will start downloading your version of Unity Hub. So after Unity installs correctly, this is what you're going to see. If you already had Unity, of course, you're going to have some projects over here. But the important thing is that we have to check our installs. Officially, you don't need all of these installs as long as you have something that says visionOS right here. It's good, but I would recommend that you at least have 2022.3.40, which is the version that I have. And in your modules, you include all of these. So you don't need all of these when you install the new version of Unity, but it is important that you have the visionOS build support because we are going to develop for visionOS. And I do recommend that you install Visual Studio for Mac, the Android build support if you want to port your application to another VR headset later. iOS build support because it is a good idea to connect visionOS and iOS applications. And Mac build support and the WebGL build support. The WebGL is in case that you want to make a web application in the future. So yeah, just install Unity. It will take a little bit. And once you have this, you can create a new project. So let's do that. When creating a new project for visionOS, we are going to use the Universal 3D template. If you don't have the template yet downloaded, you will see a button right here that says download template. Just do that. It will take like a couple minutes. And the reason why we are going to use the Universal 3D is because it uses the Universal Render Pipeline, which helps with the foveated rendering and all the polyspatial features that we can use in visionOS. Yeah, so once we have this, we can create a new project. And let's name our project visionOS First App. Let's do that, First App. Choose a download, choose a saving location, and then just create project. Creating the project will take a little bit of time, but just be patient. Okay, and when everything has finished, you will see this beautiful view of Unity. And this is where everything, all the magic is going to happen. In my opinion, this is the best layout that you can find. If you want to change the layout, you can just click here and then change for any of the layouts that they have available. I prefer just going for the default and then taking my game window and put it here on the right. And yeah, that's all that we need to prepare for Unity for now. The second thing that we need to do is that we have to make sure that we have Xcode. Xcode is what is going to build our application. And I see a lot of people who have problems with Xcode because in order to develop for the Vision Pro, we will have to use the beta versions of Xcode. Currently by August 2024, of course, but it has always been a problem that you need to have a specific version of Xcode to develop for your app or to release it or whatever. So a lot of people download it using the App Store or the official website. But what I want to do here is I want to introduce you to an app called Xcodes. And what this app does is that it helps us manage multiple versions of Xcode, as it says right here. And it's incredible because it makes it super easy to install the simulator and to also manage the beta versions that you're going to use and the release candidate version. So just download Xcode or Xcodes following the guide here on GitHub. If you have ever downloaded something from GitHub, it's really easy to do. I think Xcodes can even be installed using Homebrew. So if you have ever done that, if you haven't, that's something that you should look into it. And once you have Xcodes, you can just go into here and you will see that I have multiple versions installed. I have the 16.1 beta and the 15.4 release candidate. These numbers will probably change for you as time goes on. And you will probably not require the beta version, but for now, this is what we are developing for, and this is what we're using to develop for visionOS version 2. So as you can see here, visionOS 2.0 beta 5 is the current latest version of the simulator. And the reason why I have two is because if you want to upload something to the actual App Store of Apple, you need to do it from the release candidate. But from the beta versions, you can upload it to TestFlight and test it on your device. So after you install Xcode, you will have to install the simulator for each one of these versions. So for example, if I wanted to install the beta 5, sometimes the simulator works for multiple versions, but for example here, you can see that the 2.0 is not available. So I had to download the 1.2 and the 2.0. So after you click the install button here, it's going to take a little bit because it's very heavy. But if you have never used the visionOS, I recommend that you familiarize with the simulator itself. And the way that you can do that is just open the simulator. And the Vision Pro simulator will start. This simulator has all of the features one-to-one of the Vision Pro simulator. So if you have never used one, it's a really good idea to just play with it. The usage is pretty simple. This is your crown button, and you can just use your mouse as if it was you tapping. Or you can simulate eye gaze with it. So just get familiarized with it, just play with it, open some apps, and yeah, so this is the simulator for visionOS. We're going to use it a little bit in the future. So yeah, once you have that, you can go back to your Unity scene. Here, we're going to prepare for visionOS development. So we just have to go to here, build settings, and change to visionOS. You can choose if you want to develop for the device or if you want to develop for the simulator. For the sake of this tutorial, we're going to do simulator, of course, but it just changes over here wherever you want to deploy your app to. So we're going to do simulator for now. And if you want to access the development tools, you just go development build over here. We change platform, and that will get us ready to deploy our app to visionOS. Okay, and it's done. So we can just go here into player settings. We go player and then visionOS icon over here. And I just want you to check if here in other settings you have linear, because this is the color space that we are going to have to use. And everything else I'll explain in the future. For now, just care about this linear, which is important. And that's it. We can start developing for visionOS. I'm going to delete this global volume because we don't need it right now. And the first thing that I want to do is that I want to just create a folder over here. I'm going to call it assets, or like, I'm going to call it skybox. All the links are in the description below. And what I want to do is just create a material that would let me change the skybox, because I want to just make it a little bit prettier. You don't have to worry about this too much. It's just so it looks good. And we're going to go here into rendering, lighting, environment, and then just change the material for the skybox material. There you go. Yeah, that's it. After that, we're just going to create a cube, which is going to float in space. We're going to call it cube, and we're going to reset it so it's in 0, 0. That looks good to me. And then we're just going to create a button. We have to import the TextMax Pro essentials. And after we do that, we can import our button. Because this is a virtual reality application, the canvas has to be in world space coordinates. And we're also going to reset it over here. The button. There you go. So yeah, this is our button. Yeah. To change how the button looks or what it says, we are just gonna go here into the text TMP, and we're just gonna say press me. We're just gonna auto size it to make it easier. This minimum size is gonna be 24, and then 12, right? Yeah, that should be good. Let's do 20. It's better. Yeah. And that's it. We have an application that we can run on Vision Pro. So we can just go here, build settings, and then build. We can just start a new folder here that will say build. And that's it. Awesome. After we finish building our application, we will see that it created the build folder, and inside of it, there is this Xcode project file. We can just double click it because Xcodes is taking care of which Xcode we're going to use. In this case, I'm going to use the beta version because that's the one that I have selected in my Xcodes app. You can see it here that it has a green check mark. If I wanted to use the 15.4, I can either check it here or click active. But right now I want to use the beta 1 because I want to develop for the visionOS 2.0. So if we double click it, it will open Xcode beta, where we can build our application. Once your application loads, you will see up here that the simulator is selected. So you can choose which version of the simulator you want to run on. It doesn't really matter unless you have a specific features that you want to run on the newest simulator. I always use the latest one, but it is a good practice to also check in the previous version or the currently available version for everyone. As remember that beta versions for Vision Pro and most devices from Apple require that you are a developer to access them. So not everyone has a beta version of the software. Once you select the version that you want to use, in my case the 2.0, you can just go here and then sign in capabilities. And in case that you require signing for your application, you will see some information here that you need to fill. But because this is the simulator, you don't need to do any of that. You can just build the application and it will run directly on the simulator. So let's do that. Perfect. Once the build is succeeded, you will see that the simulator opens and then your app is loading with this black and white circular logo. And it should start in a little bit. You can see that it says made with Unity and you can just walk around it, and it basically works as a window that you can just grab and put around, and if you want to press it, then it actually works. So you can see it's basically a Unity window. It's not augmented reality, it's not virtual reality, it's just basically a Unity window in your virtual space. So this is what you can do without Polyspatial. Basically, you can bring all of your apps into the virtual environment of the Apple Vision Pro, but they will not interact in any other way with other frames or with other windows or with other applications. This is basically just a Unity screen. And congratulations, you made a Vision Pro application. This is your first Vision Pro application. If you have a device, you can test this. If you have other Unity apps that you want to bring to Vision Pro, you can see that it was really easy to make that happen. And I hope that you make more applications like this. Follow us so you can see the next tutorial where we'll talk about what Polyspatial is. And for now,